Hello, my friends. This is Evelyn coming to you with the newsletter information for Pisces time again. It's time for being in touch with spirit, whatever that means for you. Dreaming big, paying attention to your hands and feet. The new moon in Pisces occurred around 3:35 a.m. Thursday morning for those living on the east coast of Australia. And you know, new moons are a time for seeding something new. It may be a small project or a tiny idea, or it might be a huge plan to make a significant change in your life. With this new moon in Pisces, the dreamer, allow yourself to imagine what it would be like to what you'd like to be experiencing in 5 years' time, or even 2 years' time. You know, we're going through enormous changes at the moment. Anything's possible. So what would you like to be doing? Or more important, how would you like to be being? We are human beings. Where do you want to be living? Is it where you are now? Or would you like to live someplace else? Who would you spend your time with? What experiences make you happy? What experience will make you feel good? Notice I use the word feel. We are so accustomed to imagining with our minds. It's time to marry the energies of the heart and the mind. And it's useful to write down what you want to experience, right in the present. For example, I'm living with my best friend in a comfortable home with water views to the north. I enjoy being healthy and well. I feel really happy sharing everybody's activity with my bestest friend. I feel much gratitude simply watching the water in silence together. I enjoy regular afternoons stitching with my friends, or whatever you think you might like to do, playing cards, being in the woodshed, fiddling in the garden, whatever it is you like to do. I feel happy and fulfilled. You need to express your vision for yourself. And while you might like to enjoy and include others in your scenario, remember they have their own free will and the ability to manifest their own visions. It's a bonus if some of it matches. Well, you could always do this exercise together with your best friend. Do you know about the Heart Math Institute? I'll put the connection in the notes. And from the website, the Heart Math Institute has developed reliable, scientifically validated tools since 1991, helping people reduce and avoid stress while experiencing increased peace, satisfaction, and enjoyment. Research at the Heart Math Institute shows that adding heart to our daily activities and connections produces measurable benefits to our own and others' well-being. We are at the dawn of recognizing love as the new transformational intelligence. So many of us have been programmed to consider life as a business, with the financial indicators that place the success of the enterprise on the profit line. Is that the only measurement of success? What about customer satisfaction or client satisfaction? Is there any value in being happy, fulfilled, and at peace with what you're doing? In this energy of Pisces, the heart is very much the dominant energy. Take special time out in nature or deliberately meditate and connect with your soul energy. There is psychic sensitivity to be tapped, particularly with Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces. Why are you living on the earth right now? What is the special purpose that only you can fulfill. We are all unique and amazing. Build each other up and encourage each other to shine as we are meant to shine. Remember how it feels when someone compliments you? Take time out to connect with your heart. And just a reminder, from an energetic perspective, it's our job to imagine our future and allow the universe to take us there. Unlike the conventional business plan or model, it's not our job to determine how we get there. Just imagine the what. If you can believe in your vision and genuinely expect it to manifest, it will. Often in magical and amazing ways. What about your hands and your feet? You know, in this Piscean energy, pay attention to your hands and feet. What happens when your feet are injured? Your feet are your connection with the earth. Walk barefoot on the sand or the grass. Notionally, the nurturing Mother Earth energy. Do it every day if you can. It helps ground your energy and keeps you in the reality of the now. How do you manage if one hand doesn't work? Have you ever had a broken arm where you had to do things with one arm, often the non-dominant arm? Tough, isn't it? Pain in the hands indicates you're out of touch with your needs and your heart's desires. Use your hands to express your love for yourself and for others. I suggest in the energy of Pisces, you treat yourself to a manicure or a pedicure or both. If you have calloused or problem feet, maybe it's time for you to consult a podiatrist. And yet, you know, another beautiful treatment in this Piscean energy is a reflexology experience. Susie treats my feet regularly, and different parts of the feet correspond with different parts of the body. And the reflexology is a great way to monitor the body's health. What about energy and water? Pisces is a water sign, and I am reminded of the stories of Masaru Emoto, a Japanese researcher who wrote about his experiments with water. And his research showed that words, intentions, directed energy has a significant impact on water. And where he put a bowl or a glass of water which had received positive, focused, loving energy, the crystals formed when the water was subsequently frozen were beautiful. In contrast, where water had been subject to negative energies, the resulting crystals were malformed or not particularly attractive. Now, given that our bodies consist of 80% or more of water, how do you think that translates into our daily lives and our connection with other people and animals? So I encourage you to share loving, positive energy from your heart. And what about energy through the air? Now, McTaggart is a more recent researcher studying the effect of energy on the energy of the mind on various subjects. And I've been reading The Power of 8, in which she discusses various experiments where people from faraway places have intentionally focused and sent healing energy thought to a particular subject, often at a significant physical distance, like from Sydney to Arizona. One of the surprising outcomes is that the experiments have a mirror effect, not only transforming the recipient of the energy, but also reflecting back on the individuals. It's really, really interesting research. And as I reflect on the work of both Emoto and McTaggart, I'm reminded that we are all energy beings. The energy that was contained or constrained in the age of Pisces, which is on its way out, is being allowed to flourish in the age of Aquarius, which is on its way in. Insubstantial energy is available to all of us, if only we are aware or awake. I am optimistic that the damage that may have been inflicted on so many individuals in the last 2 years will have some solutions in the field of energy healing. We are living in exciting and transformative times, and so anything's possible. So now, what does the astrology tell us? Now, having referred to the energy of the last 2 years, having experienced the energy of the last 2 years, let us consider what we are now expecting to experience in 2022. You may remember that in January 2020, there was a significant planetary alignment of Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter in Capricorn, which hadn't happened until since the 1500s. And as astrologers, we were expecting a reset of the finances of the whole world. With Neptune in Pisces, the energy of spirituality, illusion, delusion, deception, trickery over the last few years, there's been much going on that we don't know about, and there's been much that has been deliberately hidden from view. And so while the governments of the world have been dealing with the threat of COVID-19 virus, providing a huge distraction from what is really happening, there has been the opportunities for activities behind the scenes in manipulating our currencies and our finance. I believe that 2022 will manifest far-reaching changes to how we manage our money. Now, what exactly would occur? I don't know. But it is smart to be aware of how you manage and protect your assets and your income. Depending on your demographic and your financial profile, there are many different strategies for preparing yourself for what's going to come. And I found this fellow Warren Black from globalwealthclub.org to be a smart educator of what's available. He's a bit of an eccentric man, but therefore quite interesting. But he's qualified and experienced as an accountant and a lawyer. A couple of years ago, he rescinded his professional connections so that he can freely talk and not be cut off from people who would direct what he would say. And while he does not purport to offer any financial advice, he has much to offer with his knowledge of the law and financial options available to you. So even if you don't live in Australia, many of the principles he teaches are transferable to another country and another culture. Now, what about floods? Where I live in Queensland, Pisces has brought floods to my part of the world. And significant floods, some of which have not been seen since 1974. That's nearly 50 years. So with this astrological alignment with Neptune and Jupiter, both in Pisces, I expect there'll be other flood events, not necessarily here, but possibly in other parts of the world. Now, we can view this challenging experience as a clearing out of material that needed to go, both on a physical and an energetic level. So if you've lost belongings at this time, and you don't feel very happy about it at this time, in time you will be very grateful that you've had the opportunity to create and build something new from the remains. My place had the floodwaters close, but my property is safe. Other friends of mine were woken at 4 a.m. with floodwaters raging through the house. So they scrambled to put clothes and other items above the waterline, which rose to at least 60 centimetres. And as you can imagine, it was very scary for them and their boys. And then they were rescued by the emergency services in a little boat. The family were delivered to a nice hotel where they felt very out of place, presenting themselves in bare feet and clasping blankets around them. But they were fortunate enough to have insurance cover and will be safe, but very displaced for some months until their home is ready to be inhabited once more. So earlier in the week, I went over to help with cleaning up and return, and I came back to my place with bags of wet clothes that needed washing and drying. And my neighbours said to me, "Oh, let us do this. Let me do a load. Let's just share the load." And so my neighbours don't have contact with anyone who's been displaced by the flood, but they feel as if they've been able to make a contribution by supporting this family. My neighbours are feeling wanted and needed. So this is an illustration of how communities can support each other in times of difficulty. As we move through more into the Aquarius energy, there will be much more of this community coming together, not just in disaster situations. Human beings love to be in communities. It makes each of them feel good. Together, we can accomplish so much more than just being on our own. Now, what I've described is not an isolated incident. If you were to research, you would find many, many stories of people helping others in this flood situation. It is much, much worse in Lismore and parts of northern New South Wales than it has been here on the Gold Coast. And sometimes it can be helpful just to donate some money to the local emergency services or charities to support their work, because we can't all be there on the ground, but we can all do something. And if you can't physically do something, send love and light to these people who have been displaced and so on. Remember that charity begins at home. Now let's talk about sources of news for a moment. We know that the mainstream media loves drama. We also know that not all that is reported is actually true. Some of us follow other threads of information from different sources. And not all of that is true either. And remember, there are good people in every place. So you really have to be very discerning. I'm finding that a chap called Bigtree at thehighwire.com presents some interesting and thought-provoking information which sheds a different light on the matters reported by the mainstream media. Now, if you believe that the mainstream media is a propaganda channel, or maybe you don't, but you might like to tune into Bigtree and hear a different view. Now, in the last month, I found that I quite enjoyed the interview provided by a chap called Martin Armstrong in episode 253 in relation to the economic reset that is occurring, and more recently to a man called Edward Dowd, episode 256. Edward worked for BlackRock some time ago, and he has some very interesting views about the impending financial reset. None of us know what's going to happen, but it's interesting to consider the wide range of possibilities. And at a time when there's so much BS flying around, I believe it pays to research differing points of view. You're entitled to make up your own mind. And I believe you also have a sovereign right to manage what goes into your bodies. So, health and wellness. And as someone who has been interested in health almost all my life, I'm finding the current scenario very interesting in many ways. It is good news for me that more people are interested in about what they eat and what exercise they do. We are each unique, And each of us needs a unique diet and exercise program. Of course, there are many similarities, but one size does not fit all. Commune, I'll put the reference down below, is currently screening Dr. Zach Bush, talking about all aspects of health and wellness in relation to diet. I watched the segment on protein and found it very interesting. You know, I've always believed you've got to have a significant amount of protein for every meal. And he claims that our bodies are consuming far more protein, mostly animal protein, than we need. Further, he claims that excess protein is transformed into sugar. Another point he makes is that copious amounts of animal protein, meat, can putrefy in the colon, causing digestive and other issues. So I'll follow up. I'll talk about this next newsletter because I'm going to see what else he's got to say. And, you know, diet is important for all of us. And most importantly, we choose the diet that works for our bodies. Understanding that our dietary needs change over our lifetime and with our activities. And so, you know, from time to time, we need to make adjustments. Just a brief chat about astrology, to which I've referred earlier. You may be interested to know that I've been busy the last month working with some clients of a detox facility, supporting the clients in their refocusing their energy and their direction. And each chart is so different, and every chart has the seeds of greatness and success. You know, if we can focus on the positives and direct our energy accordingly, according to the strengths of our energy, of our chart energy, we can manifest success for ourselves. So if you're feeling uncertain about your forward path, maybe an astrology reading can help you. Send me a message. Now that's all for this Pisces energy. Stay healthy and well, stay open to what might happen, and please dream big. May your dreams come true.